take care of everybody's birth. Doesn't matter what kind of birth you want. We're open to anything. And then you get there and you realize, no, the hospital system is really set up one way to handle one kind of birth. And you just get put through that system. And it's a fight to try to not get put through that system.
Oh, she was 2 to 390. Excellent.
This is Pitocin, which is the medication given through the IV that causes contractions.
2, induction is doing fine. Just check that she's on PIT.
How much demo were you going to give?
Room 3 being induced.
Give the equivalent of steroid. Just make sure we're going up on the PIT.
Just make sure that she's on PIT and something's happening with her induction.
PIT her means to basically instructing the nurse to start Pitocin.
I asked to keep upping the PIT.
Probably about 90% of our patients at some point are on some type of augmentation.
She's not anywhere near adequacy, so we have to keep upping the PIT.
If you're not making that change in that segment of time that we're looking for, then we're going to try to facilitate things.
PIT at 6:30.
Hospitals are businesses. They want those beds filled and emptied. They don't want women hanging around in the labor room.
You get this feeling at the hospital where there's like a limit to how long you can be in labor. Like, oh, it's been 12 hours, so now you need Pitocin.
Oh, I did know the pressure was on, as we got into like 20 hours, 21 hours.
At the hospital, I had Pitocin, and then that made me itchy, so they give you something else for your itching.
I knew once they gave you that Pitocin, you need the epidural.
Feel better now that you have the epidural? Oh my God, yes.
And then things come on really strong, so then you get an epidural.
And if you're uncomfortable, we can always give you more.
It was very easy for them to start doing things that we hadn't really wanted them to do, like Pitocin and whatnot, because I already had the IV in my arm.
They don't really give you the option,
And then another epidural, because nothing was happening.
You're having a contraction right now.
Automatically, they were like, oh, you need an epidural, we'll get the anesthesia.
Fully bulbed for induction.
They gave me another drug called Stadol.
17 hours of Pitocin.
They gave me that, and I remember that made me, I was like, what's going on? What's going on? There's something wrong.
Cervidil was the end. Once Cervidil happened, any chance beyond that was gone. It was gone.
I hated that drug.
It seemed to me that once they started an intervention, they all just it was a domino effect.
The whole thing is like a big snowball effect.
In the hospital, you're not allowed to have very long labors. So if you're not dilating rapidly, which you're likely not to do if you get an epidural early in labor, you will be given Pitocin. Put the Pitocin in the IV. It will flow into your veins. Pitocin makes contractions longer and stronger and closer together. So then the pain of labor is much worse. So you go with that for a while because you have the epidural. Contractions is overwhelming the epidural. You need to up the epidural. And then labor slows down more because of that. So then you need more Pitocin. Now you're not feeling the pain of the extra Pitocin because you've got the epidural, but your baby is getting compressed blood and oxygen supply because Pitocin contractions last so long and are so strong, the blood and oxygen flow to the baby is compromised. So then the baby's likely to go into distress, and then you're sent off for an emergency cesarean from a baby in distress from contractions induced by the Pitocin, which was necessitated by the epidural.
Step by step, one intervention leads to a series of interventions, and the net result is the mother finally ends up with cesarean, and everybody says, thank God we were able to do all those interventions to save your baby. The fact of the matter is, if they didn't start the cascade of interventions, none of that would have been necessary.
There is clearly an association with induction of labor and cesarean delivery.
People don't have the information. When you look at obstetrics in general, there's been a series of